Alrighty. I just walked in the door like 2 or 3 minutes ago, um, and threw some leftover KFC into the microwave and decided to make a video real quick, get it over and done with so that hopefully I can do some learning tonight. Doubtful. Alright, yeah, it's recording. Can't see without my glasses. So this is what is this? This is the second week, and it's Wednesday, so it's day 8, I think. I think it's Wednesday. So, because of the instructor shortage, we were with the trainee instructor again, Russ, and the other instructor, David, that lost his DOT medical, so he can't instruct anybody. So we had the 2 instructors that are on limited whatever. So we went back over to the Crossroads Mall and did skills maneuvers again. This time it was the parallel park. There's, you do one from each side. We just did them over and over and over again all day long. We started the day with the pre-trip as usual. And today, a couple people kind of got up in arms about what I've been mentioning in my videos the past, I don't know how many days, basically the entire class that we've been dealing with Russ. We're all trying to memorize the CDL University pre-trip. And Russ does not know the CDL University pre-trip. He doesn't know the items in order. Like, he can pass a pre-trip. If he were to go down and take a test right now to get a license, he could pass that. But he doesn't know the order of the items and the verbiage that CDL University is teaching us. So he's just kind of winging it. And then he'll just throw in random tidbits of information. And we'll be like, so we have to say that? And he's like, no, it's just good to know. I mean, it wouldn't hurt you to say it. Stuff like that. Like, we're trying to memorize a pre-trip. And he's just like making crap up off the top of his head. And it's been pissing me off. Like, it started out as annoying, then it got frustrating, and I've been just flat out pissed off since about Monday on this. And today, other people started noticing it and started getting mad. Like, they were tossing around, phrases like, I paid $6,000 for this damn class, and they gave us the instructor that is in training that doesn't even know how to do this, and he's telling everyone, like, they were saying that every time somebody goes through the pre-trip, he tells them to do it differently. So everyone that goes through the pre-trip, he gives them a different thing to say, and like, people are starting to get really, really pissed off. I don't think I'm going to have to say anything about it. I think other people are going to speak up about it. What I plan on doing with it is just, I'm going to memorize it on my own. I have other resources aside from the instructor to help me learn that. So I'm just going to do that. If somebody else speaks up about it, I don't like drama. I don't like that crap. I mean, I get really ticked off about stuff. I pick up on little things, and I get really annoyed, and things like that. But I rarely ever speak up about it. I'll just bottle it up and deal with it. I'll find some way to deal with it. So that was the morning. One person actually just said, don't even bother doing a pre-trip with me. So one person didn't even bother doing the pre-trip this morning because they were so ticked off that, like, Russ didn't know the pre-trip. They're like, what's the point of me doing a pre-trip? You don't know the pre-trip. You've told everybody something different every time, and I don't have the pre-trip memorized. So that's basically what he said, and said that, there's no point in me doing it. And he said that he would just watch the videos when he got home, and so we just skipped that person today. So it's like, aside from that, it was a drama-free day. Everybody was, really cool, laid back, because of it was a bad weather day, and normally everybody just sits in the truck driving around town on bad weather days. Since we were out at the backing range, everybody got out of the truck, stood out in the weather, for like the first round of backing, which was about 30 to 45 minutes or so. And then I was like, do you mind if I get in the truck and just hang out in the truck? And they said, yeah, that's not a problem. Just don't talk to the person doing the backing maneuvers. Don't help them. Don't, make conversation with them. Don't distract them. This is their time, to do. They didn't go into this much detail. All they told me was just don't talk to the person doing the maneuver. And I was like, okay. But basically, they didn't, this is their time to do their thing. And part of it, doing it on your own, is getting to that point and recalling from memory what's going on instead of having somebody, as soon as you mess up, going and telling you how to fix it. It helps you learn whenever you have to figure it out on your own. Whenever you have to recall from memory how to do something. So that little 2 or 3 seconds of you sitting there going, was it left or right? And then you go, oh, it was left. That really helps with learning. So I just sit over there quietly. A couple of people tried to make conversation with me, and I just ignored them. And if they kept on talking to me, then I'd be like, I was told I can't talk with you. I'm just here for the heat. Oh man, the video stuttered thing again. What I said when it stuttered was, I'm just here for the heat. But I sat in there through, I think, 2 people doing the maneuvers, and then everybody else chickened out on standing outside in the cold, and everybody joined me in the truck after that. and so we did maneuvers like that with all of us in the truck except the instructors for about 2 hours. Then we went to lunch. And when we came back from lunch, even the instructor got in the truck with us. So, all of us were in the truck doing maneuvers. Nobody was outside. It was cold. It was in the 30s. It was probably just a consistent 15 to 20 mile per hour wind with gusts, I would guess, in the 30s. And it was a really light drizzle all day long. Just 30-degree drizzle with just windy. It was just, you had to turn to where your back was in the wind. Otherwise, your face would, if your face was in the wind, your face would just go numb in a matter of seconds. But it sucked. The weather was terrible. Everybody caught on to the maneuvers pretty easy. It's all about reference points. It's just, they're telling us, okay, get to this point, line up here, turn this way until you see this, and then stop, turn the wheel all the way the other way, turn this way until you see this, and then it's all about memorizing reference points. And there's only 4 or 5 things you have to do. So everybody picked up on it really quick. The only thing is that everybody's reference points are just a little bit different. And if somebody adjusts the seat or anything, then your reference point will change, because if they slide the seat forward a little bit, then that could throw you off by 2 or 3 feet on your reference point. Just moving your reference point a few inches will change your position in the maneuver by a couple of feet. So I don't know how well that's going to play out on test day. I don't really like this whole reference point crap because of a lot of reasons. One, it's not a real back. Nobody would really back like this in the real world. And number 2 is that it's prone to this kind of crap where, if anything changes that changes your reference points by just an inch or 2, then it can throw off the whole maneuver by, a couple feet or more. And it can make you fail the whole thing whenever you're relying on this reference point system, because it's really, really, really hard maneuvers. You're jackknifing the truck one way and then jackknifing back another way. It's really, really hard maneuvers. So hopefully we get it down. We might graduate up to a better truck tomorrow. We're the sophomore class. The freshman class tomorrow will be their first day in a truck, and we are currently in the crappiest truck that the school has. I think the only reason that we're not in a better truck is because we're with Russ, number 1, and number 2, because there are some people that are failing their CDL test over and over, and they're having to give people that are already on week 5 or 6 or something additional training because they failed their CDL test so many times. And there's also somebody that they didn't go into detail there, but they're doing some kind of like driver course for somebody that already has their CDL. They were working for a company and they screwed up really bad. I don't know if they got into an accident or what the deal was, but the company did not want to fire them. So I think that the company worked out some kind of deal with the insurance company where if they put this guy through some type of safety driving course, that the insurance would continue to cover this person. So that's what they're doing for this guy, and that's what they're using one of the trucks for, is to put this this person through some kind of driving course so he can keep his job and not like be unemployable. Because basically, I think whatever he did was so bad that no trucking company would hire him, but the company that he works for currently wants to keep him, and like that's his only option. And the insurance company and the company he works for were willing to work out this deal. So I hope he doesn't screw up again with whatever he did. This is probably his last chance. Everybody in the school so far has been really nice. On our way in today, at the end of the day, we were walking in, and the class, we're the sophomore class, so they would be the junior class. A couple of people from there were walking out, I think maybe to their cars, I'm not sure. And one of them, his name's Dakota. He gets there real early in the morning like I do, so he and I chat in the mornings. And as he was walking by, I was like, "Hey, what's up? Did you guys do good today?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we were doing good." And then there was somebody else who I'd never talked to in his class, in his, the junior class with Dakota, was about 20 feet behind him, and he walked up and he said, "Hey, you guys, you're the sophomore class or whatever, right?" Well, we were like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Man, you doing good?" And he was like real motivational and like real upbeat and real nice. That's typically how everybody is there. Bunch of really nice people. We had Schneider, a Schneider recruiter, come in and do like a 30-minute sales pitch to us. I took a bunch of notes. I've already researched Schneider. Uno momento, I'll pause this and grab my notes out of my backpack. And I think it's recording again. Been going for 12 minutes and 40 seconds or so. I threw the leftovers in the microwave for 2 minutes, so once I finish this, I'll probably run them for another minute. Alright, so he gave us this book, and it looks like it's personalized for him. This is a little cutout card, like it's perforated so you can rip it out of there, and that's him. Well, it's not going to zoom in very good. Brian Bowerman. Bowerman, field recruiter. He told us a whole bunch of stuff about what he does. I think he said he'd been with Schneider for 30 years, and I don't know if he currently is a full-time recruiter or if he's also a dispatcher, but he talked about, he was a dispatcher. I don't know if he's still doing that, but he told us about dispatching. I did notes on the front inside cover of a whole bunch of stuff that he told us. And I doubt you can read that. Alright, what are some things? He said that they have 15,000 drivers in the United States working for Schneider. He mentioned that January is a bad or slow month as far as he was speaking about job opportunities, but the trucking industry in general, it's my understanding that January is kind of a slow month. He said in February is when things will start to pick up. And basically what he was saying was that if we went and tried to find jobs at Schneider, like whenever you apply for Schneider, you apply for a specific job. And he said right now you're not going to have a whole lot of options. But the options available will start picking up in February. He said that safety is number one with the company, which is a change in the industry from the last time I was in it. Last time I was in it, you would get threatened to be fired if you tried to shut down the truck due to safety, like weather or like whatever. Now, a lot of companies are being, safety oriented. At least that's the sales pitch, is that, we don't want you chaining up to go through snow. I think the CEO of Swift, or vice president or president, somebody really high up with Swift Transportation, Swift had some dispatcher go and tell the drivers that the chains weren't there for show or something like that, and you needed to chain up and keep the trucks moving. Well, that kind of went viral in the trucking community, and it pissed a lot of people off. And somebody really high up in Swift, the CEO or VP or something, answered or responded to that to a reporter in a news article, and said their company policy or their mantra is that you should not chain to get into a situation. You should only chain to get out of a situation. If the roads get bad, you should find the nearest safe spot and pull over. Don't put chains on to go into, a bad area, which is how it should be. And that's kind of what executives are preaching and recruiters are preaching. But dispatchers have always been the problem in the trucking industry. Dispatchers are the problem. You need to deal with dispatchers. Safety number 1. Rather late than unsafe. That was his motto. No team training. He went on a little rant about how ridiculous these companies are that do team training. And what he was describing was Prime Incorporated. About how ridiculous it is that you go out and they just abuse drivers, their trainees. As basically they force you to team for about 3 months. And they do that because teams are very lucrative. It's very, very, very lucrative for the carrier, like Prime. Team trucks are more profitable than solo trucks. And most people don't like to team. So the way that these companies get teams is they force students to team. And he called that out. Like, everybody knows that. It's obvious. It's absolutely ridiculous that they call that training. And he said it. Like, it's something that I've been saying for years. How can you train if you're in the sleeper? I don't know if people realize how this team training works, but it's not training at all. You get in there and you just team drive for a certain number of time, or a certain number of miles, or a certain amount of time, I guess, or a certain number of miles. But you're driving and your trainer is back there sleeping, and then whenever it's their turn to drive, you go sleep. There's no training that takes place there. He called that out, and he said that Schneider doesn't do that crap. He didn't use the word crap. That's me. That's just so. Anyway, moving on. No team training, one-on-one training, and it only takes 3.5 weeks instead of, abusing somebody for 3 months to get a team out of them. The first 2 weeks of training, you stay in a hotel, and it's classroom for the first week, and then the second week is slow maneuvers. So for the first 2 weeks, you're just going to be staying in a hotel at one of their training sites, and the first week of it is mainly going to be classroom, and then the second week is going to be like parking lot type stuff. You're going to be doing backing and slow maneuver type stuff. And then I'm guessing that the remaining week and a half is going to be some type of, they're going to have you actually go do a couple of trips. Classes start every Monday. They pay $80 a day while you're in training. They said that, now these numbers are for a solo driver. I didn't even bother writing down team drivers. I think the team, I'll explain the team when I get there, and it's going to be from memory. 95% no-touch freight, 50% drop and hook for solo. And I think the only difference with teams is he said that it's 75% drop and hook for teams. So Yeah, that seems to be the way the industry is going, especially now with ELDs, since they can't abuse drivers by making them log all of their time that they're getting loaded and unloaded at shippers and receivers as off duty. That's basically what they did for decades. And now with electronic logging, they can't really do that because everything's GPS tracked now, and the movement of the truck, the RPMs of the truck, like everything of the truck is monitored and logged, and the ELDs tie in with the movement of the truck and stuff like that. So you can't lie on your logs as easily as you used to be able to, and so a lot of stuff is moving to no-touch freight and drop and hook. To like, you can't run any miles without that stuff. Because, I mean, shippers and receivers, I'm not going to rant about that. Moving on. So some points he made about, that was no sitting and waiting. Okay, so no sitting and waiting. What he said was, his example was that, let's say that you're running late for a delivery at, 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. You don't get there till 6 p.m. That particular place closed at 5 p.m. Friday night, and they're not coming back till Monday. Well, most trucking companies are just going to make you stay there until Monday. And you may be stuck out in a place that doesn't have a nearby truck stop. So you may just be stuck like out in the country 100 miles away from the nearest city at some delivery location, and you're there for your weekend. You're going to be spending your days off not getting paid out somewhere where you might not even get cell service out there. So it's going to be a crappy couple of days, and you're not going to get paid for it. He said in that situation, they will have you drive that truck to their nearest drop yard or terminal, drop that trailer off, and go grab another trailer and pick up another load, and they will have somebody else make that delivery on Monday to keep you rolling. He said they'll also deadhead you. Like if you are in a bad freight area and there's not a load available until Monday, instead of having you sit all weekend waiting for a load, they'll deadhead you somewhere where there is a load. And he said that they pay you the same rate whether you're loaded or empty. So it's all the same to you. But basically he said that they're going to keep you running, and they're going to try their best to minimize the variance in your pay on a weekly basis by keeping you rolling. They're going to do everything they can to keep you rolling. And then he went on about he called it accessorial pay. I'm not sure if it's accessorial or accessorial pay. I think it's accessorial. But it's basically detention pay and stuff like that. Their detention starts after an hour, and it's paid in 15-minute increments. He didn't say what it was. And he also said that you get paid extra cents per mile for short trips. So one of the things that really sucks to be a mileage driver, like let's say you get paid 40 cents a mile. If your company is giving you short runs where you can only run like 200 miles in a day, well, the company is making a killing on that because they're paying very little fuel cost, and those trips generally pay a lot more on a rate per mile basis. But to a driver that's making a flat rate, they're not seeing that additional pay. The recruiter said that Schneider does pass along that additional pay on short mileage trips. So drivers don't hate doing short trips over at Schneider. You get, a little bit of share of the love. And he tried to badmouth companies that pay on percentage, but that's just a load of crap. He was just making up some ridiculous scenarios where, oh yeah, if you get paid percentage, they're going to have you deadheading all over the place and you're not going to make any money. No, percentage is the future. Everybody should be paying percentage. And on the accessorial pay or accessorial pay, I don't know what in the hell it is. He said that 70% of drivers... No, this is a different one. Accessorial pay, on average, is about 15% extra pay. So, the way he made it... what he said was that you're going to receive about 15% of your pay as accessorial pay. So detention pay, layover, breakdown, that type of stuff. If they have you if they have you help unload the trailer, that would also fall into that. And he said that's about 15% of your pay, is what it comes out to. You get paid 15% extra. And then the last thing I have written down is that 70% of their drivers make bonuses. He was basically making the point that their bonuses are easily attainable, and it's expected that everyone makes the bonus. So he was making the point that it's 70% of their drivers make bonuses, and they're paid out quarterly, which really sucks. I mean, like, turnover in the trucking industry is pretty big, so you don't typically stay somewhere for a long time. So let's say that you work there for 2.5 months and you just barely missed out on that quarterly bonus. Then you missed out on basically an extra week of pay, is what it boils down to. And the way they sell their bonuses is it's whenever they're telling you what your rate per mile is, that bonus is included. So whenever they make the sales pitch that you're going to make 52 cents a mile with Schneider, that's included the 4 cent per mile fuel bonus that they expect you to make, that you only get paid quarterly. So I've already done my research on Schneider. They're a decent company, but in the grand scheme of things, they're yet another crap company in the trucking industry that pays absolute dog poop. He was up there talking about how, oh yeah, you make like $1,200 a week with us. Do you realize how crap that is? You're working 70 hours a week for $1,200. I've done charts on this. I don't remember what it is, but I'm guessing $1,200 a week is something like $13 an hour if you're working 70 hours a week to get it. And you're going to be working 70 hours a week to get it. You're going to be logging at least 70 hours a week. You're probably going to be working more than that you don't log. But it's... yeah, I'm not considering going to Schneider, even with their sales pitch that they did. That's the first recruiter that we've had in the class. And I don't think we're supposed to have recruiters on Wednesdays. Thursday is our normal recruiter day, so we're probably going to have another recruiter tomorrow. I think there was a recruiter scheduled for January 23rd on some whiteboard, and I thought it was Schneider. Maybe Schneider just showed up a day early for some reason, or maybe we have another recruiter scheduled for tomorrow. I don't know how often recruiters come in there, but some of the recruiters that have crap all over the place are Schneider, TMC, which is a flatbed company. TMC sounds like a really good company. There's a lot of good things about them. They pay percentage. They have a really good student hiring training program and everything. If I were willing to go on with TMC, then I would have just gone straight into their training program, because I think that they have a fully paid training program where they will train you to get your CDL. I'm not going to pay $6,000 to get a CDL and then go to TMC. I've already looked into them. If I were willing to do flatbed, I would have gone there. The only negative I've heard about TMC is that it's run like the military, and they inspect your truck like every week, and it has to be in pristine condition. Like, not just no damage to the truck, but hygiene type issues. It has to be clean. I heard that hygiene is something that they push really hard at the company, so they expect their people to be taking showers on a regular basis. I don't know about clean shaven or any of that stuff, but basically cleanliness, hygiene, taking care of the truck, representing the company in a very professional manner. That's really, really, really big at that place. And that's been pitched to me as the only negative that I've heard. I'm willing to do with that. I'm fairly certain that I wouldn't have to change much of anything that I do or plan on doing, and I would meet their cleanliness and hygiene requirements. It's just that there are some absolute slobs in the trucking industry. Trying to think of anything else. I think I've covered the whole day pretty well. Schneider brought donuts. I had one of them. It was some kind of apple donut, I think. Maybe. I don't know. It was a dark brown donut. It was pretty good. I normally don't eat donuts because I've got a bit of a weight problem. And donuts are basically just sugar bread. They're not good for you. So, but I was, tempted, and I did it. We ate at Burger King again today. I forgot to tell them I wanted onion rings, and I just got fries. So Whopper and fries again, and strawberry Fanta. Oh my God, I love strawberry Fanta. It's probably my favorite soda. It's awesome. Love me some Burger King. Everybody else is already hating Burger King. And I'm like, I want Burger King every day. But I'm that kind of person. I'm the type of person that I like. When I find something I like, I stick with it, and I can, keep doing that almost forever. I will get burnt out on, eating the exact same thing every day after a while, but not as quickly as most people. What all else is there? I have not been doing a good job of preparing. We're only this Friday. We got to talking about it today in class. We were like, and I was like, oh, we're halfway through. We're over halfway through our second week. I'm like, are we through the halfway point of the class? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out how many weeks we're in the class. It's 4 weeks, so it's like not that difficult. But I thought it was like, for some reason I was thinking it was 3 weeks, and I thought we might have been halfway through. And everybody's like, no, the halfway point's this Friday. And I'm like, man, we're almost halfway through this class already. Like, this is flying by. And I have not been doing a good job of two things. Number one, studying for my CDL test. Honestly, I think I can pass it right now. That's one of the reasons I don't think I'm pressing myself to study. But I need to do it because I don't really want to have to take it a second time. And number two is I'm not doing a good job of preparing like around the house type stuff. I need to. I noticed the other day on my gate that the wind has basically pulled the screws out of the ground anchor, and it's one side of my gate is basically not being held in by the ground anchor. It's relying on the ground anchor of the other one. So I need to go down to Home Depot and buy some bolts and some washers and connect that ground anchor again so it's held in really good, especially now that we're eventually going to be heading into the spring in a month or two. And these spring storms with these crazy winds are going to rip that door wide open. So I need to do that. There was something else I was just thinking about that I need to do. I cleaned the gutters this past weekend. Oh, I need to put weed and feed down. I need to go down to Home Depot and get some weed and feed. I probably shouldn't chance ordering it online because it might not get here until the last minute or after I'm gone. So I should probably go down this weekend and get some weed and feed and put down on the lawn. Otherwise, weeds are going to be really bad when grass starts growing here in a month or two. What else? There's just like a whole bunch of house prep type stuff. Like I need to set up my external cameras so that I can access them on the WAN when I'm out and about. There's probably some prep work on the computer to download and install things that I need to do. I've been trying to use my laptop as my main computer for the last couple of weeks so that if I run across something that I'm missing, I can go ahead and get it downloaded and installed. Right now I'm using the laptop. Anytime you can see my headboard on my bed, I'm in my bedroom and I'm using my laptop. I haven't been going up into my computer room very much because of that. Basically been spending all my time in a bedroom. The hell else is there? 35 minutes. Still got like 5 to 15 minutes. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this will be an hour-long video. Just be going on and on. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, we just the people I'm in class with, we make small talk and stuff like that. Um, there's some personal things that we've talked about or mentioned that I don't really want to throw out there in the public space, like um, just basically, personal things. Most of the people that are in the class with me have a lot of damn kids. That's not a big secret that I'm not willing to tell. One of the guys has 10 kids, another one has 6, and the youngest person in our class is 31, and I think he only has 1 or 2 kids. Actually, I don't think either one are his biological kids. I think it's his girlfriend's kids with somebody else. But lots of kids. They got to talking today. I got shamed about something. One of the people that's in my class is apparently really big on social media. He's some kind of marketing and promotion person for R&B and rap and stuff like that. And he has his maximum limit of followers on Facebook of like 5,000 people or something like that. And he said that he has like 11 or 1,200 people waiting in line that he can't add because he's at his limit. Whenever I was asking him what his Facebook page was, and I was going to look it up, and well, he's been talking about having social media and everything. Well, I asked him like what social media platform he was on. I was trying to pull it up on my phone. I was like, I don't have a Facebook app, and I was like, yeah, I don't really use Facebook. I think I've only got like 10 friends on Facebook. I was like, no, I dropped a couple. Now I think I only have 8 friends. And him and another person were like, you only have 8 friends on Facebook? I was like, no, they were like, you only have like 10 friends on Facebook? And I was like, no, it's 8. And they both laughed and they're like, that's, they shamed me basically on it. I was like, yeah, I don't know what to say. But I don't know. I looked at his Facebook page. I don't know. I asked him what he does. Like, he's just like, what do I not do? So I have no idea what he does. I think he basically said he mainly does marketing and promotion, but and he travels around a lot. He said that he goes to I saw a picture of him at a Steelers game. He's come in like wearing all kinds of Steelers stuff, like head to toe Steelers stuff. And I was like, oh my God, a Steelers fan? He's like, oh yeah. And then when I was looking at his Facebook page, he had a picture of him at the stadium. I was like, you actually go to the games? He said, yeah, I go to every game. I said, home and away? And he said, yeah, I travel to all the games. Like, wow. Steelers fans. But yeah, that's so that's kind of some of the small talk that we got into. I don't really know. There wasn't a whole lot else. Today's Wednesday, right? Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but the instructor problem is still an instructor problem. And tomorrow the problem's going to get worse. Initially, they were like, oh, well, Cindy is going to be back to work Thursday and Friday, so we'll be able to go out and drive on the road. And then somebody mentioned that, well, Cindy's going to be with the freshman class because they're going to start driving Thursday and Friday. And then we were like, oh, so we're not going to have anybody to go out on the road with, so we're going to be backing again. we're probably going to be backing the rest of this week, just out on the range doing maneuvers, which I don't personally have a problem with, because I'm not like, mainly this, driving around town is all about shifting. And not to, brag too terribly much, but I shift better than the instructors. The instructors grind the hell out of gears. They float gears. They don't shift properly using the clutch. So whenever they try to use the clutch, they grind. And people who float gears generally grind quite a bit. So I don't really. I'm really, really, really good at shifting. And that's mainly what you're doing driving around town, is shifting. That's what you're doing, is learning to shift. I don't even know what these schools that teach you in automatics do on road training, because 90% of road training is teaching you how to shift. It must be so easy to get a CDL using an automatic. So yeah, backing through the rest of the week, which is good. Maneuvers. I prefer to do maneuvers. And I just wish we had more time. The thing is that when we're driving around on the road, we have a long time where we're not doing anything, but we're driving around and people are slamming on the brakes and crap like that. You can't really study the pre-trip during that time. And then when we have time to step away, or we have a place to step away and study the pre-trip, it's only like 15 minutes in between you doing something in the truck. So we'll do, like, everybody will go through doing the maneuver. It only takes like 5 minutes to do it, and it's your turn to do it again. And so, like, there hasn't been free time during class time to study the pre-trip. So I'm going to have to do that. I should be doing that right now, but I'm procrastinating on it right now. I'm trying to extend the length of this video so I don't have to do it. I want to be so glad when I get my license and I don't have to deal with this crap anymore, because this is just, I hate memorizing stuff. I'm good at it, but I hate doing it. I hate memorization stuff. I really hate memorization. It is just so... My opinion on the matter is that anything that you need to memorize, you can just look it up. Like, if I need I can just type out a piece of paper with the pre-trip. If I need a pre-trip to go by, a sheet, then, like, I can just have that and do it. But, I mean, you don't need that meticulous of a pre-trip. Like, all of us could probably go around and do, well, maybe not all of us, but I could go around and do a pre-trip on one of these trucks right now and check all of the items I need to check. But I might not pass an examiner test because I didn't check it exactly the way they wanted to or anything. It's mainly just about checking to see if something's, like, not right. And if something's not right, then you take it to a damn mechanic and have them fix it. Sorry about, the language, but we're not mechanics. We're not expected to be mechanics. We're just supposed to find things that aren't, right, and report them to other people who know more. We're trained observers. But all right, I guess I'll stop rambling on and move on from here and go eat my leftovers. But that's about it for today. Pretty easy, cool day. The only real negative today, like, everything about today was really awesome except the weather. And that was only really a problem for the first hour or so. And then we all just sat in the truck going forward after that. But it was brutal because of the wind. If the wind wouldn't have been there, it wouldn't have been too terribly bad. But with the wind and the really light drizzle, it was just biting cold. So I'm probably going to layer up a little bit more for tomorrow. Alright, so have a good one. Thanks for watching my video if you did. Thumbs up, like, don't like. I don't know. Awesome.